Hi, everybody. Welcome into Sports Talk Chicago. My name's Jon Zaghloul. Great to have you here. Channel 59.3, BPOD TV and Roku. Big news. The Steelers drafted a quarterback. Will Mitch Trubisky start game one? We're going to break it all down in just a second. Before we get started, make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram at JonZSports and on Facebook at Jon Zaghloul. You can watch more of my show. Search up Sports Talk Chicago on YouTube or go to sportstalkchicago.com. You can watch more shows from the BPOD TV network. Search up BPOD TV on YouTube. I want to start today with this. Unlike the Bears in 2020, or even to an extent last year at the quarterback position, the world runs on a meritocracy. You got to earn your way, right? Nothing is going to be handed to you, ever. If you want to be the CEO, you want that promotion at your job, you got to prove it. It's not going to be given to you for no reason. You have to have backing, results, evidence to show that you deserve to be there. That's how it should be, and for the most part it is. This world is a performance-driven world. But there are times, as I mentioned, 2020, 2021, where the Bears and other teams in the NFL, any sport really, they don't abide by that principle. Case in point, 2020, Mitch Trubisky was the better quarterback, and they put in Nick Foles. Matt Nagy did. And that ended effectively, or began the end of his coaching career here in Chicago. Last year, game one, Andy Dalton was the better option at quarterback. More experienced, more playoff appearances. Justin Fields had never taken an NFL snap before. And the Bears also didn't let him take first-team reps. So by default, it was Andy Dalton's job. Then, over time, Dalton lost it easily. Fields came in, and the rest is history, at least for now. See, the problem is, in the Bears' case, for both years in training camp, they bungled the situations. A quarterback competition is just that, a competition. There's no predetermined winner. And for the past couple of years, there have been here in Chicago, and there have been around the country with different teams too. But if you're all about performance, if you're all about winning, if you preach winning, if you say you're a winning team, then you evaluate all options fairly before making your choice. That's rational thinking, common sense. Matt Nagy surely didn't do that, and, well, he's out of a job now, at least head coaching-wise. I know a lot of people, Mitch Trubisky supporters, were pretty disappointed last weekend when the Steelers took Kenny Pickett at quarterback. A lot of people said, well, this is unfair to Mitch. This is wrong. He came in to be the starter. What are you talking about? Why'd they draft somebody else? Guess what? I'm here to tell you, it was the right move. It was. Let's back up a second. New report came out yesterday. Said that Mitch Trubisky, quote, knew, end quote, about the Kenny Pickett decision. He knew the Steelers were going to take a quarterback, and they targeted Pickett. And guess what? Still signed with them. Trubisky knew about this before he signed the contract in Pittsburgh. Already informed. Already knew. Unlike Andy Dalton here in Chicago. Goes to show you first and foremost how classy the Steelers organization is. They actually decided to disclose this information to Mitch instead of holding it back and causing a whole quarterback controversy that was easily avoided. Bears, take note. But even more than that, they're setting a precedent in Pittsburgh. And even as a Mitch Trubisky supporter, I have to say, I love this. They're setting a precedent. Mitch, we like you. We brought you in. But you got to win the job. Nothing is going to be handed to you. That's the right way to look at this. That's the right way to do it. Why can't the Bears do that? Why is it that hard to have this common sense attitude about your starting quarterback or any other position? Pretty easy, right? You want a competition. You want the best out of everybody. Look at the Bears. Look at their offensive line. Ryan Paul said he wants a competition. He said Tevin Jenkins, Larry Borum, they're not even promised spots yet. Yes, thank you. Prove you deserve to be there. Prove you're worthy enough of starting game one. Everybody wants things handed to them. No, you prove to me you even belong here. That's how it should be. And that's the same thing that Pittsburgh's doing. Even as a Mitch Trubisky supporter, I applaud this move. The Bears did the exact same thing last year. Look, Andy Dalton is a veteran quarterback, and at one time he was considered maybe a top 15 quarterback. Maybe. He's not the future. We all knew that. Andy's proven to everybody in his career he is not the future. So yes, you draft a young quarterback, you have them battle it out. Whoever wins gets to start game one. Mitch Trubisky, to me, the jury's still out. We don't know. I do know this, and we all know this, Matt Nagy sabotaged him. So he's going to a team, a different team, that's going to give him a fair shot. That doesn't mean he's going to be a superstar. That doesn't mean he's going to have a Tannehill-type renaissance. We don't know. So I don't fault the Steelers in investing in an insurance plan. That's all Pickett is. And Pickett is one of the top-rated quarterback prospects of this draft on top of it. Top-rated prospect, you get him in the second round, and you still have somebody who's supposed to be your game one starter unless Pickett wins the job outright. Then he will start, and Mitch will sit. And we'll all know whether or not Mitch did things wrong or right. Now, if the Steelers approached this like the Bears did, especially in 2020 with Trubisky and Foles, I'm going to cry foul, and I have every right to. But if we're talking about true meritocracy, we're talking about winning the job based on skill, based on performance, based on what you see, this was the smartest move that the Steelers could have made. And it just goes to show the stark differences between a team and a franchise like the Steelers and the Bears. See how they avoided all the drama? How easy it was? All they had to do was say, you know what, Mitch, we're going to sign you, but we plan on drafting a quarterback. Okay, I'll sign. Versus Andy Dalton, you're going to be our starter. QB1 on social media. Then, oh, crap, we drafted Justin Fields, but we're going to be loyal to Andy, but he doesn't really deserve to start, but we're still going to play him. It's so easy to communicate. Go to organizations, in business, in sports. Communicate. There's no secrecy. There's no, well, I'm going to tell you one thing and do the other. It's straight up honesty. No BS. The Bears are full of BS. Not with this new regime per se, but the last regime for sure. So for those of you wondering my reaction to the draft pick, it's pretty simple. Win the job, Mitch. I like Mitch Trubisky. I think he was unfairly run out of Chicago. But the fact is, you still got to earn your stripes. No matter what you have to. Same with Justin Fields. Everybody has to earn their stripes. You have to prove you're worthy enough to be there. Always. Mitch Trubisky has to prove he's worthy enough to start game one. He has to show everybody, Mike Tomlin, offensive coordinator, he has to show them, you know what? I'm leaps and bounds better than Kenny Pickett. He's a rookie, doesn't know anything. I'm going to beat him out. And you do, and you win. And that's great. And it's also not Mitch Trubisky's job to teach Pickett. There was a big viral video this week about Ryan Tannehill saying it's not my job to teach Malik Willis. It really isn't. And that's not a controversial opinion. It's not his job, it's the coach's job. Quarterback isn't the coach, he's the quarterback. I didn't see Andy Dalton teaching Justin Fields. Nick Foles did, but Nick Foles was irrelevant. Andy Dalton wasn't. No, he was going out there to compete because that's his job. He's not a coach. He was paid to play football, not sit on the sidelines and coach a rookie. Same with Brian Tannehill, same with Mitch Trubisky. All these guys who are veterans, who've been in the NFL, it's not necessarily their job to coach these rookies. If they want to help out, out of the goodness of their heart. There's no problem with that, but it's not their job. It's not in their contract or in the description of being the starting quarterback, even if you're a veteran. It's not in the job description. You are not obliged to do anything of that nature. People have to get that through their head. Oh, he's looking out for his job. Hell yeah, he is. But he doesn't want to lose it. Of course he's looking out for his job. Of course he's going to say it's not my job to tutor him or mentor him. He's worried about his own ass. Worried about his paycheck. Of course it's not his job. Why the reaction was so controversial and so triggered makes no sense to me. Not your job. Not going to be Mitch Trubisky's job to help out Kenny Pickett. It's going to be both of their jobs to perform as best as they can, and whoever wins game one, that's who's going to start. If they screw up, if they do bad in the first couple of games, guess what? They're sitting on the bench again. We're going to go back and forth till you find the answer. To me, this is all common sense. And if I'm wrong, tell me, but it seems pretty simple. Overcomplicated by a lot of different factors and different people injecting their own knowledge that doesn't really apply. Doesn't apply. Mitch Trubisky is there to be the starting quarterback if he wins the job, and it's not his job to tutor, to help out Kenny Pickett. It's his job to win the role. It's his job to win the starting quarterback position and to play their game one. That's his job. That's what he was signed for. That's what he's getting paid to do. Not to be a coach, not to be a quarterback's coach, not to be an offensive coordinator. He's paid to play football. So the Ryan Tannehill controversy isn't even a controversy. He's paid by contract to play football, not to coach. He's not. Got to keep that in mind. Ryan Tannehill's job is to play, not to coach. And the same with Trubisky. So I have no issue with the Steelers drafting Kenny Pickett. It's actually the best insurance policy they could have undertaken. We all know Mitch was run out of town unfairly, but we don't know what he's capable of doing in that offense with that team. The world's a meritocracy. The NFL's a meritocracy. Even if the Bears don't subscribe to that notion, it's the truth. There will be a competition. The best quarterback will win or should win, and he will play game one. And if he sucks and screws up and stinks it up, loses his team games, he's going to be taken out. Why this concept is so hard for others to understand is beyond me. This is common sense. If half these coaches in the NFL coached with common sense, their records and their trajectories of their careers would be 10 times different. Matt Nagy included, chiefly. Coach with common sense. It's a meritocracy. Gotta win, gotta perform, gotta earn the job. Earn it. I have no problem with the Steelers going after a young quarterback who's arguably the best quarterback of this draft class. Good for you. And the best part is, the classiest part is, Mitch knew about it. This is not Andy Dalton and Justin Fields. This is not the Bears social media account saying QB1 and then drafting somebody new a week or two later. That's because the Steelers are a much better organization than the Bears. They're classy. They know how to treat their players. Even if Mitch is the backup for 5 more years in Pittsburgh, you know what? He'll be treated better than he ever was here in Chicago because they're classy and they care about their players. And this proves it here. This report proves it. He knew, he was informed, and he's still signed there. And I don't see Mitch crying about it or making a big deal about it like other players and other quarterbacks in similar positions. He's taking it in stride. And he's trying to be the best that he could be in that situation. I applaud him for it. You could say what you want about Mitch Trubisky, about his performance here. I've never seen, in my lifetime, a more humble quarterback. Went through so much here in Chicago, didn't say a word. Goes to Pittsburgh, they draft a rookie who's poised to take over for him. What's he do? Nothing. Puts his head down and works. There's no crying, there's no woe is me. Humble quarterback. That's why no matter what, even if it doesn't work out, Mitch Trubisky's the true winner. Morally, He's the true winner. I've never seen somebody more humble in the NFL. Even. Humble. Doesn't have to be. He's had success, moderate success, to the point where he could brag about it if he wanted to. Hey, I've been in 2 playoff games. I've made a Pro Bowl. I'm a winning quarterback. But no. He's modest, he's humble, he keeps his mouth shut, and plays. That's what you want in a quarterback. Not every quarterback needs to be this egotistical, flamboyant leader. Some leaders are modest and they lead well. So I like this move by Pittsburgh, but I also like the response from Mitch Trubisky, and I like the way Pittsburgh handled it. They didn't pull a Chicago Bears. They didn't pull an Andy Dalton, Justin Fields Part 2. They know how to treat their players. They're classy. Something the Bears never have been. That's why I got no problem with it. And it's not Trubisky's job to teach Pickett. If he wants to, out of the goodness of his heart, he can. But it's not his job. His job is to play quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ryan Tannehill's job is to play quarterback for the Tennessee Titans. It's not to mentor a rookie. See, Nick Foles did it last year because he had nothing going for him. He was inactive half the time. So what else are you going to do? I mean, I'd rather help out Justin Fields than sit my ass on the bench and freeze to death and watch my team lose again. Of course I'm going to help. But it's not Trubisky's job to do it. It's not Tannehill's job to do it. It's not anybody's job to do it. They are paid under contract to play football. If they were a coach, I'd say, great, you better tutor him. You better mentor him. That's what Matt Nagy was brought in to do, right? To mentor and help out Mitch Trubisky and Justin Fields. He's a quarterback whisperer, quarterback guru. Didn't work. Ryan Tannehill, Mitch Trubisky, they're not quarterback gurus. They're not quarterback whisperers. They're quarterbacks, period. Their job's to play football, not to mentor kids who were just drafted. Thanks for watching today's show here at BPOD TV, channel 59.3 in Roku. Really appreciate the time. Remember, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Jon Z Sports and on Facebook at Jon Zaghloul. You can watch more of this show. Search up Sports Talk Chicago on YouTube or go to sportstalkchicago.com and tune in right here every night at 10:30 on BPOD TV. So long, everyone.